obviously with my Eagles rose-tinted glasses on, thank God we got the win.
Dewsbury Rams have signed Brad Delaney and Tobias Richardson. The pair have joined the club on short-term deals and have been named in the squad for the trip to France today. Halfback Delaney actually previously featured for the Rams in 2014 and 2015 and was a reserves championship winner during that time. More notably, he pulled the boots back on for Coventry last week and was really one of the crucial players in their big win over Keighley. Richardson is a forward who's been a standout performer for Dewsbury Moor in the National Conference League. This is going to be the first of quite a number of players signed up from the amateur game into the sort of Championship, Shield and League One side. So that's going to be an interesting talking point as we roll through some of the other signings. But that's about all I know on those guys.
I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, I don't know, Glenn Morrison was the coach and he got sacked, and I remember, I think, Paul Delaney, I think, is Brad's dad who used to play for Dewsbury, and I think he is on the coaching staff.
He's the assistant coach, yeah.
And I think he said something about Brad obviously not getting the chances, and then Glenn Morrison said something, and I remember screenshotting it and putting it on Twitter and being like, oh, that's not very nice of an ex-coach to say, especially to a family member. And I remember Brad's mum messaged me saying, oh, thanks a lot for sharing it around, because that's what we've been having to deal with for a long time. So yeah, it's so he's finally back. He's finally going to get another chance.
And obviously, that go he got at Coventry means that is put himself in that shop window. So we'll see if that can get him a longer term deal, because he has been knocking around the amateur scene as well earlier this season. Swinton Lions have signed utility back Ryan Gray from Leigh East and experienced prop forward Paul Wood, who's also, I think, involved in Leigh East, isn't he? Wood recently came out of retirement, apparently, for Whitehaven, but didn't play a game after the takeover of the club failed to happen. But he's now moved up a division to Swinton to help them. Old one-ball Paul Wood, who's a bit of a character these days, is making sure he's marking a niche for himself in that range of things. Interesting signing, good signing, really, for a Swinton Lions club who are going to be scrapping for their lives this season.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was Stuart Harvey's mate who was supposed to be taking over at Whitehaven, and obviously that failed to occur, so he didn't play. So I think that would make sense if that were the case. You can't really go wrong. Paul Wood, you know what you're going to get from him. He's just a tough seek, isn't he? And he'll definitely bolster that forward pack that they've got. And fair play as well on Dewsbury with Richardson and now Swinton with Ryan Gray going into the local clubs and being, Leigh East have got a good partnership with Andy Maisie, who used to be.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, fair play to him on giving these youngsters a chance, and hopefully they'll flourish for him.
Yep, into League One now, and Bradford have decided that Ethan Ryan needs some competition for places because they've signed Castleford duo Jai Hitchcock and Tui Agodo on loan until the end of the season. Hitchcock spent time on loan at the Bulls earlier this season. He was really popular there. He'll rejoin with immediate effect, and I think the plan was always he was going to be there next year anyway. Agodo, who signed a hat-trick on his Super League debut against Hull FC, will be in contention for a place in this weekend's squad as well. And they've brought in outside back Johnny Pownall on loan from Toronto Wolfpack for the remainder of the season. The winger or centre previously was on loan at Championship side Barrow. So basically 3 more players to play in the outside backs for Bradford.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a new rule that you can play 4 wingers in one match or something. I don't know what they're thinking of. But
we're back to the 1890s where people are trying out revolutionary new lineups.
Yeah, exactly. That might be the case. Yeah, because obviously obviously York have caught up with them now, so they're wanting some more depth, obviously, and they've got that. Hitchcock and Agodo, I've seen Agodo play a few times for Newcastle because have got a little agreement there, dual reg I think it is, and he's looked class every time in League One, so he should go really well if he gets the chance. And
yeah, he's a powerful kid, isn't he? I think he's got a chance.
And Hitchcock's also, and Pownall played against us last week as well for Barrow, so yeah.
The interesting thing with Hitchcock is he's still out of his broken back, so it seems like more of a shuffling of the of the deck to get Metallia in at Cass as much as anything else, and Hitchcock and Bradford have a relationship already.
yeah, it seems like the case. So until the end of the season, so I don't know whether Hitchcock's his time at Cass has gone, and whether Bradford will sign him if they go up. Or
Hitchcock's they've already come out and said they won't be re-signing him for next year.
Right. So he's playing for a contract if he comes back from that injury. So yeah.
Yeah. Huddersfield Giants' Tyler Dickinson and Tyler Mellor will spend the remainder of the season on loan with Workington Town. Town have also taken Barrow Island player Ben Garner on trialist forms. So obviously you've got some serious hot takes on Ben Garner that we're going to get to, but I've never heard of Tyler Mellor. Tyler Dickinson's played a bit in the first team and seems to be like a big, strong running second row forward. So all these League One clubs, especially the ones in Cumbria, need bodies in at this stage of the season in that push for the top 5 for the playoff places in League One. So nice to see them add into their squad there. Hull FC centre Jack Logan will join Doncaster for the remainder of the 2018 season on loan. The 22-year-old made 10 appearances for the Black and Whites this season. Doncaster has also confirmed the permanent capture of Ross Osborne, who was released along with Turgot yesterday from Hull FC, and he signed on permanent deal with them until the end of the season after previously featuring on dual reg terms for the Dons. Jack Logan is a player that I think isn't quite going to make it at Super League level, and this is a chance for him to show that he's better than League One level, at least, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think obviously they've got that agreement, that dual reg agreement. Obviously signed on loan, and obviously they've signed Ross Osborne till the end of the season, like you were saying. So yeah, it'd be a good chance for both of them, really. I know that there's. I don't know if the fans at Donny are quite into the agreement with Hull FC. Not that I think the only team that are quite happy with the agreement with dual reg is probably the Eagles, just because they're linked up with the best team in Super League. So yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how Leigh do, because I know Donny have gone off the rails a little bit. So they need big performances and.
Well, they've just started to find some form again, aren't they? So they just look alive again in that playoff race. They were falling like a stone, yeah.
Start so yeah, and then they might have went off the rails a little bit, but fingers crossed. Obviously, like you said, might be back on the road now. So fingers crossed they can do something, because as much as Eagles and Donny are little rivals, they always want South Yorkshire rugby to do well. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay, York City Knights have signed up a young back, Matt Chilton, on a deal from the end of the season. The 20-year-old has been playing at local community club York Acorn. I think he had some trial games with York in the pre-season as well. Okay. So that's another team going out and looking at the community resources and showing these players that even if you've got past the age of the academy level, you can still find yourself getting into the semi-pro game and giving yourself a chance at having a career in rugby league. And Whitehaven have done something similar. They've signed 5 players on deadline day, which just reflects the fact of how thin their squad have become. They've signed forward Jordan Thompson, not that one. He comes in from Hensingham, this guy. They've re-signed club record try scorer Craig Calvert. He's come out of retirement to rejoin Whitehaven. He's going to have competition in the wing positions, though, from Jordan Herve, I don't know how to pronounce that, who joins from local NCL side Kells, and former player Carl Seiss also rejoins the club he last played for in 2013. Finally, Stephen Roper returns to Haven. This is on a loan deal for the rest of the season from North Wales Crusaders. The only one of those I've ever heard of before is Craig Calvert, and I know he was a rapid, fast try-scoring winger 10 years ago. I'm not sure. And he played a bit. Did he play a bit for Scotland maybe or something like that? But I don't know. I don't know if he's still got it now. But
I don't know whether it was last year or 2 years ago when Whitehaven were in that big playoff semi-final against York. I think it went to 110 minutes, something like that. Stephen Rowe picked the drop goal that won him, and obviously they lost in the final to Barrow. Yeah, it was last year. So yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, he's come back, and obviously happy times for him. The semi-final, not the final, obviously, but yeah. Calvert, he class as permanent, obviously. So you've. You got to hope he'll, like say, a record try scorer as well. he always scored against the Eagles as well. So yeah,
one thing that signing Calvert and maybe even Roper too will do is hopefully re-engage some of the fans around the area, because there'll be people in the team that they know that they can go and have a look at, rather than it being players on loan from Super League clubs, the Championship clubs, or players that they've never heard of and aren't sure how long they want to even stay around the club for. So that's a positive there. One last story, and this one really did catch my attention on Thursday night when this came out. I thought it was a wind-up, to be honest. Stephen Wild has come out of retirement to sign for North Wales Crusaders. Wild, who's 37, retired from playing at the end of the 2016 season, but has been back with the North Wales club as strength and conditioning coach this year, and will now put his boots back on for the club. Morgan Johnson, Will Mills and Jacob Hitchcock Cox have all signed first-team deals with the club until the end of the season. Stephen Wild is the player who... if I'm right, was meant to be he was at Wigan last night when they had the kind of what we have as a heritage game, last regular season game. We normally bring out the old players and that sort of stuff and have them paraded. Stephen Wild was one of those players who actually came out last night for Wigan, sort of clapping the players onto the pitch and that. But 37 years old, I mean, he's probably in good shape given his career choice, and he runs a gym, doesn't he, as well, I think, alongside Adam Sidlow, if I'm right. They did do. So interesting one there, but very exciting to see a player that I've got a lot of time for from his Super League days back in the game playing.
Yeah, definitely. I love the Crusaders club as well. Every time I went down there, it was brilliant. And when they played at Wrexham, I think they're elsewhere now. But fingers crossed that it all goes well for them both.
They're still in Wrexham. I think they play where in one of the university grounds now, rather than the main stadium. Yeah.
I see. Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's all the stories. I don't think anywhere else will have covered it as comprehensively as me and you have done. Obviously, this was your SLP short debut. It's not the first time long-term listeners of Super League Pod will have heard your voice. You know, you've contributed quite a bit in the past in the early days of your sort of career towards hopefully being a sports journalist in the long run. Where can people find you to get your views, mostly on the Eagles, but also on all things sport?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, DF Sports 97 or DFS Ports, as you always like to say, 97. So yeah,
exactly. The man who brings the couches in from overseas. That's what Dan does.
Yeah, so yeah, you can find me there, just rambling about any old sport really, but mainly rugby league. Yeah, and, I do the Eagles social media as well on the website, and yeah, I'll be off to Leigh tomorrow. Fingers crossed we can cut that. Cause a little upset, but I mean, there's still got
plenty of upset in Leigh at the moment. I think they're ripe for the taking for an Eagles side who at least have been scoring plenty of points recently, if not necessarily winning all the fixtures they've been playing in. They're definitely better than they were 2 months ago.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good job we had the Saints Joel Reg, because without that we would be up. Would be up a creek we had a lot for sure. So yeah, but yeah, fingers crossed we can go there and have a little dig and see what happens, and then we get a week off. So fingers crossed we get a few bodies back as well. Excellent, great stuff. Well, it's been great to have you on, Dan. I'll remind everyone they can find you at DFS Ports 97. Thanks everyone for listening for this episode of SLP Shorts. If you want more SLP in your life, you can find us at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Super League Pod, or you can send us an email about what you thought about any of these deals, and particularly the Leigh news, and we'll try and cover those in the next regular episode. Email us at superleaguepod@gmail.com. You can also get more SLP content on our blog, which you can find at superleaguepod.com, and you can find the main weekly show and subscribe through Spreaker, iTunes or YouTube, and on the Podcast Addict app. You can also find us on the Leaguecast Android app with some other top rugby league listens, and then finally go to rugbyleaguemedia.com, where you'll find us amongst a range of alternative rugby league media outlets for your eyes as well as your ears to enjoy. And then the last thing to say is we want to thank you for listening again, and until you hear from us again, keep enjoying and supporting the greatest game of all, rugby league.